Good morning, everyone. We are going to be talking all about Final Cut Pro 10.7 this morning. Of course we are. What else is there to talk about? I don't know of anything else. So one of the things that I've seen some bug reports. If you have bug reports, let me turn this off. If you've experienced bugs in 10.7, bring them on over to today's live stream, and we'll see if they're a common bug or if they're just an unusual bug. Let me turn this on. Final Cut TV, of course. And as usual, I have a little bit of business to attend to, and we'll be back in a few minutes. We will be back in a few minutes. Let me turn this on and turn this on. I'll be right back. First thing we got to do is fade the music down, take the countdown off, and then turn off the, hey, here we are. Turn off the blue opacity to get back here on live. Welcome, everybody. Final Cut TV and Coffee, Saturday mornings, 9 o'clock. So we have our first comment. We're going to talk about Final Cut Pro 10.7. I've seen some bugs reported, and if you have bugs, bring them in. We'll talk about, see if other people are having the same bugs, or if you're having a good experience. I'll talk about my experience with 10.7 so far. Yari says, the only bug I found so far, Space Designer RI presets do not load properly. Sonoma, good evening from Finland. Richard, good evening, Yari. Glad that you could make it this morning. And we have our friend Spot Lewis from Philadelphia also chiming in here. So my experience with Final Cut Pro 10.7 so far have been really good. There's been no issues. I've updated. I haven't started anything directly in 10.7. I've just updated previous libraries, mainly to use the scrolling timeline, of course, some of my long form videos. Thank you for the thumbs up. It's appreciated. I don't need scrolling timeline if I have a 1 minute video or a 2 minute video. That's not what it's for. It's for long form videos. So I use it for that. Hello from the Netherlands. Very good. Very, very cool. See, this is a worldwide Final Cut Pro community. Finland, the Netherlands, Philadelphia on the good old East Coast of the USA. I'm on the East Coast. I'm right outside of Baltimore, Washington, kind of like halfway between the two. Not halfway between, but northwest of Baltimore and directly due north of Washington, D.C. So thank you very much for the thumbs up. We already got a thumbs up already. Fantastic. So we're just going to sit here and discuss Final Cut Pro as we normally do on Saturday mornings, but specifically 10.7. I presume most people are working in 10.7. Now I've updated six legacy libraries from earlier versions of Final Cut Pro. Good morning. And we had someone who is only using for my German education videos for Danish students. I found I have not had any problems, but I'm only using third-party plugins, but I'm not using any third-party plugins. I don't think there's that many issues with third-party plugins that I've seen specifically. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. It's appreciated. I have third-party plugins, and sometimes the titles have to be retyped because it turns into gibberish, or you have to select a different font. I've had that issue, but I think that issue's been around for a while. So when we're talking about, I've said on social media this week, I'm expecting 10.7.1. Now, the reason I've said that is if the reported bugs can be reproduced by the Final Cut Pro team. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. If the reported bugs can be reproduced by the Final Cut Pro team, they certainly will work on a bug fix. Don says, I'm running 10.7, absolute zero issues. The only issues, I've seen a little bit of issues, just minor stuff that I've seen. Sometimes plugins go missing. Okay, I have to reapply them, or if I made a custom effect, you can make custom effects in a previous version project. Sometimes that'll come through and make all my clips, red. And I have to go back and find what I did and reapply it. But that's normal stuff. That's not specific to 10.7. It used to be Smith something, but change the name of the channel to reflect what I'm using it for. There you go. Darius says, Darius News, good morning from New Jersey. Are you hearing anything about a problem with compressor and a possible update? Well, if they update Final Cut Pro, they'll update compressor. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. The issue I've heard about compressor is audio units are not being carried over if you send to compressor from Final Cut Pro 10.7. I'm not sure. I usually don't use audio units. I guess if you use them in the Final Cut Pro project, thank you for the thumbs up. I guess if you use them in the Final Cut Pro project, they're not being transferred over to compressor if you do send compressor. That's the only thing I've heard about compressors so far. We have Howdy. I have not even tried 10.7 because I'm in the middle of several projects. That's because you're very wise. You're very wise, not if you're in the middle of projects. I would not try 10.7, although I haven't had any issues. I've updated 5 or 6 legacy projects. Everything's been fine. Thank you for the thumbs up. Everything's been fine for me. Now, if it's fine for you, other people have different workflows, and of course, they can see problems. Good evening from Norway, from our friend Terj. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for tuning in. But we'll wait for 10.7 or 10.7.2 always. So the interesting thing, listen, we've had 6 updates to Final Cut Pro in the last 6 months. Since May of last year, we have had 6 updates to Final Cut Pro in 6 months. Now, there's a couple of things. Things have changed with updating Final Cut Pro. Sometimes we would wait months, 6 months, whatever, longer for an update. Thank you for the thumbs up. It is appreciated. But in the last 6 months, we have gotten 6 updates to Final Cut Pro. I think that's a record. I think they've never done 6 updates in 6 months before. We're going to talk specifically about some of those updates. Don says, I've moved 2 current projects to 10.7, no issues in either, completed one of them yesterday. So I think the issues between anything earlier, 10.6, 10.5, 10.6, 10.5 to 10.7, the transition at this point seems to be going pretty well. In the past, there's been some other issues in 10.6 where there's been specific problems, and we've had bug fix updates. We had in May of last year, we had the update when the iPad version, the Final Cut Junior came out, and they updated Final Cut at the same time. We've had other updates since then. Let me see if I can pull them up. Excuse me. Do. That's not it. Let me pull this up. Okay, so here's what we have. I'm going to start back in May. Start back in May. Start back in May. Where is May? May. Come on now, you're going way too far back. I have a list of the updates for 10.6 since last year. I'm just trying to find them. So here's a perfect example. Well, here's an example. So a lot of times when they put a new version of Final Cut out, they have an update within a month. A bug fix update within a month. That's happened more than one time. So typically when you get a full number update, 10.6, 10.5, 10.4, 10.7, there is a bug fix update out within 30 days. So, but since 30 days is going to hit on the holidays in the United States, I'm kind of expecting we're going to see any kind of a last minute bug fix they can do before 2024, before the holidays. So I'm expecting the bug fix within the next week or two, but certainly before the Christmas holidays. I would think. I don't think they would wait till after Christmas to put a bug fix that if they can see the bugs. Now, if they're not seeing the bugs, that's a different story. They have to be able to reproduce the bugs. And when they schedule a release, Final Cut Pro schedules a release. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. When they schedule a release, like they scheduled 10.7 to be talked about at the Creative Summit, and they said it'll be released later this month, the last day of the month, as it turns out, on Thursday, which is the most popular day for Final Cut Pro updates, by the way. It's not Tuesday. Twice as many updates for Final Cut Pro coming out on Thursdays and Tuesday. I don't know how that Tuesday got started. Maybe as a joke. Thursdays are the most popular by far. 17 updates to Final Cut Pro on Thursdays in the last 5 or 6 years. 8 on Tuesdays and 7 on Mondays. So Tuesday and Monday are neck and neck, but Thursdays are much more likely to get a Final Cut Pro update. So Thursday is the new Tuesday. That's my joke. Thursday is the new Tuesday. Got some more comments. 2 things have surprised me after installing 10.7. One, how much I could improve of color mini DV recording and how much the scrolling timeline is saving me. Yes, how much time? Absolutely. On longer form projects, absolutely. So what was the other thing you said about the scrolling, about the color? How much I can improve color off color mini DVD? Absolutely. So mini DVDs were like, 2000, 2001, 2002. I think I had my first mini DV camera. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. It is appreciated. So I have literally hundreds of mini DV tapes. That's when I started getting into video. I started getting into video when Steve Jobs introduced FireWire on the Macs, and we could record on mini DV tapes and edit. That's when I started video editing. Before that, I was an audio guy. I had a recording studio. I did audio. So yeah, you can do, well, first off, if I encode a mini DV tape in Final Cut, I take it into Topaz Video AI and upscale it. I double the resolution, whatever it is, and improve the quality so I have a better version of it to work with rather than the standard def version of mini DV or whatever version they had, whatever version you were shooting. So I always upscale it to double the resolution. At the same time, I upscale it, I improve the quality. Topaz AI. But scrolling timeline, absolutely. My M1 machines work perfectly without any problems. MacBook Pro i9, that's fantastic. Oh, your M1, your Intel crashes a lot of times, but it's not possible to work on this MacBook. Let me see. Put clip in the timeline, crash, color correction. So I'm seeing a lot of problems. I think I'm seeing more problems with Intel machines, but that's not to be expected. That's not to be unexpected. I think that going forward, we're going to see issues with Intel machines. Also crashes, 10.6.10, it works very well. Hope the Final Cut Pro team fixes it in the next few weeks. I expect that too. And we'll go over why I expect that. Is there an issue with custom keyboards not seeing assignments in that pop-up? So I've heard that there is an issue with that people, I think in Europe, are not seeing sometimes their native keyboard layout. I think I've seen that. It's one of the things that I've seen as an issue. So that hopefully will be fixed. In Australia, it's Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays being the most popular days for updates. Well, since it's Thursdays here, 17 updates on Thursdays, it would be Fridays there in Australia. So Thursdays here would mean it's Fridays over there in Australia. Because, like I said, the count is this: 17 updates on Thursdays, 8 on Tuesdays, and 7 on Mondays. So Thursdays, Fridays in Australia are over double the amount of updates for Final Cut Pro since Final Cut Pro 10.4. I think I went back that far. Last 5 years. Thursdays here, Fridays would be the most popular there. We've even had, I think, one update for 10 on a weekend, Saturday or Sunday before NAB. That's one of the ones I couldn't confirm. I saw some articles that it was out on the weekend, but haven't confirmed that. So there are issues with 10.7. If you're not seeing them, you're lucky. I haven't seen any personally. I've seen a little bit of waveform redrawing, a little bit of stuff happening. Sometimes it doesn't quite do it until I stop and start again like it used to be. But for the most part, I'm absolutely loving the scrolling timeline. I have an M1, 16-inch M1 Max MacBook Pro, and I love it. It's running fantastic. It runs everything that I need to. I have a dual boot. I have a 4 terabyte SSD. So I have a dual boot. I have it booting into Sonoma and Ventura. Ventura being the main. I'm on Ventura right now. Sonoma, when I booted into Sonoma, I don't know what's going on. This is one issue that I have seen. I don't know what's going on with cinematic mode for my iPhone 15. Okay? I loaded into a project in Ventura, and when I click on it in the inspector to turn cinematic on, I get a pop-up, and the pop-up says, you have to update to the latest version of Mac OS in order to use Ventura, and in order to use cinematic mode. What are you talking about? I've been using cinematic mode in Ventura for months, and now I have to update my OS to Sonoma to use cinematic mode. Something's not right there because we already could use cinematic mode in Ventura. And we even went back to different versions of Final Cut Pro, earlier versions, same pop-up. I bring the clips in. They're registered as cinematic in the browser. I have a smart collection, or I have a column that will identify cinematic mode. But when I click on cinematic in the inspector, I get this pop-up that you have to update to the latest version of Mac OS. I'm on the latest version of Ventura, and I've tried to use it in Sonoma to see if it was working, and it something happened. It just kind of froze or something. So I don't know what's going on out there. I got to report that to the team, as a matter of fact, on Monday. Most OS updates are happening on Tuesdays. That might have been the reason why we thought the same was true for Final Cut Pro until you did some digging. Yes, could have been. I don't know where that rumor started. Did I start it? I don't know if I started. Maybe I started it years ago. I don't know. But it's not Tuesdays for Final Cut Pro updates. It's by far Thursdays. And here's something else. Final Cut Pro full number updates. So 0.5, 0.6, 0.7 have never happened on a Tuesday. Full number updates have never happened on a Tuesday. They usually happen on a Thursday, and I think one was on a Monday. Let me see if I can pull that up. August. Because I went and back. I got the days of the week. Where the heck is it now? Let me do Thursday. I'm searching my notes. Searching my notes. Now, is this the one that I have? Yeah, here we go. So my notes say, here. Let me pull this up for you. And we can read it together. Here. This is my notes that I figured. This is what I've figured. Full number release days, no Tuesdays. Okay? So 10-3 came out on a Thursday, 10-4 on a Thursday, 10-5 on a Thursday, 10-6 on a Monday, and 10-7 on a Thursday. I got to take this off because it did come out on a Thursday. So no full number updates have come out on a Tuesday. None since 10.3. None have come out on a Tuesday. These are the other days that I have that I figured out. So that's interesting. Julio says, Flickr free from digital anarchy takes forever to render on M3. Don't think it's optimized yet. That's a good point. I thought they optimized their stuff, though. I thought I'd interview them at NAB, and they did optimize. We'll see. We'll probably talk to them again on NAB. Can you use Topaz to upscale a project you have finished, or do you need to upscaling pre-project? No, absolutely. So Topaz is not a plugin. Topaz is not a plugin. I've been using it for years. It does noise reduction. It does flicker improvement. But you can, while you're doing that, you might as well upscale. So if I have a 720p video, I'll upscale it. I just usually double my resolution. Not if it's 4K. If it's 4K, I leave it at 4K. But if it's 1080p, I'll double the resolution. 720p, if it's standard def, I certainly will double the resolution while I'm improving noise. If it's dark and it's noisy, you can get rid of a lot of that noise. They have multiple algorithms you can use to try them out. You can do a little preview before you commit. It does take a long time, so I only do the finished version of a project. I spit out a ProRes file or a QuickTime file, and that's what I use to upscale. It's not a plugin. That's the only thing. It's not a plugin. So that's the good thing is what's the other one? The other one that's real popular for denoising. That doesn't upscale. From what I know, it doesn't upscale. From what I've researched, it doesn't upscale. I want the upscaling as well as the noise reduction. And it can take a while. If it takes about 3 to 4 times real time to finish. But if I download a video from the internet, for example, I've downloaded the Beatles at Shea Stadium. And I downloaded a video of the Doors at one of their classic performances that was really good. Well, rather than watch little postage size stamped versions of those, I'll upscale them so I have a better copy of the performance. That's just another example. That is another example. So let me go back to here. So since May of last year, we've had 10.3.4 came out in May. Wait a minute. That's not right. Let me see. 10.3.4. I don't want 10.3.4. Hold on. Sorry. I was looking at the wrong list. Okay. 10.6.2. Wait a minute. That's not it either. I'm looking at May. 10.6.6 on May came out in May. 10.6.6. 10.6.7 came out in July. 10.6.8 came out in August. 10.6.9 came out in September. 10.6.10 came out in Thursday on October. And then 10.7 came out the last day in November. So we had 10.6.6, 10.6.7, 10.6.8, 10.6.9, 10.6.10, 10.7. And the last 6 months, we've had 6 updates to Final Cut Pro. And I think that's a record. I think that's an all-time record. I don't think we've had that many updates in 6 months in any 6-month period before at all. So something has changed as far as updating Final Cut Pro for the better. They're much more aggressive. Now, you're going to say, well, but they're not giving us the features fast enough. That's correct. We still want more features quickly, but I'm saying they are updating it. As a matter of fact, two of those updates, let me give you two of them. The last two updates we had, let me see, September. The last two updates we had, 10.6.7 came out, and we had a bug fix 10.6.8 in 2 weeks. 10.6.7 came out July the 18th. We had a bug fix 10.6.8 August the 1st. That's 2 weeks for a bug fix. The next update we had, which was 3 weeks. Let me see, September. Then 10.6.9 came out in September for the iPhone 15 Pro Max. That's the first time they've updated Final Cut Pro for the iPhone, but they did. So 2 or 3 weeks later, 3 weeks later, from August the 1st to September the 19th, we had another update to Final Cut Pro. And then we had another update, 10.6.10, as a bug fix 2 weeks and 2 days later. 2 weeks and 2 days later. So they they have updated Final Cut Pro with bug fixes the last two times just about 2 weeks later. So here we are, 10.7 came out 10 days ago, 9 days ago. Could we see a bug fix this Thursday or the following week? I'm saying that we could see 10.7.1 within the next week or 2 weeks, but I think before Christmas is very, very likely to see 10.7.1. And what is it going to be? Bugs that they can reproduce, that the Final Cut Pro team can reproduce. Bug fixes, if they see it online in social media, they may investigate it, but it's better if you report the bug and it can be reproduced. If you had a bug, if you had something that crashed, but it doesn't crash a second or third time, that's not something they're going to do anything. They're going to do anything with. So thanks a lot, Richard. I'm definitely going to try Topaz now. I think you can try a trial version. I think there's a trial version. It is a subscription, but your version, you don't have to subscribe to keep the version working. I had version 3 point something for a year longer than after my subscription ran out. When your subscription runs out, you can still use the version that you have. Okay? That's the kind of subscription I don't mind. And then I renewed. They had a sale over Black Friday. So I took advantage of the sale and saved 20% or 25% over my normal subscription price, and I updated to version 4. So I have that updates for another year. But I highly recommend that. It's because you can upscale as well as doing noise reduction and improving flickering and stuff like that. Now you have to, it's not one size fits all. They have a lot of different algorithms you can try. And at some of the algorithms, you can adjust things. How much noise reduction you want, how much detail you want, how much of this you want, how much of that you want. So it's all variable. You can try the initial presets first to see if one of them works. You can try a section for 10 seconds or 20 seconds, let it go through and see if it's what you want. And then if you like it, then you can just do the whole video that way. And I put it on my other screen. I let it run, videos that I can maybe a half hour or so. I put it over there and let it run. And I do other things like in Final Cut Pro. It doesn't affect Final Cut Pro, so it's not like a plugin. Julio says, I've incidentally noticed that Final Cut Pro now remembers your workspace after you quit. Is that new? I'm pretty sure it always defaulted to default workspaces. I don't remember, to be honest with you. Sean Beckner says, good morning. So let's go back to Julio's comment. I don't remember, Julio. I thought did sometimes, and sometimes it didn't. If it opened up the project you were working on, didn't it remember the workspace then? But if something happened and you crashed, it'll go back to default workspaces. I'm not sure. But one of the things I wish they would do is every time I do a new project, I have to adjust the icon size that I want and the waveform size every single time for 12 years. Why can't it remember the settings that I want? I change it every time. I make the lane bigger, and I also increase the size of the waveform. I don't like the default. Why can't I save that as a default? Final Cut Pro team, you're watching the live videos. Let us save some of these things as a default. Is anybody else seeing any issues? I've seen issues with XML. I think it was Chris Hawking that said that don't blame Simon Says for XML problems because it's Final Cut Pro's problem. So I guess he dug into it and decided that it's not Final Cut Pro's, not Simon AI's problem, it's Final Cut Pro. So that's another issue. Julio says, yes, that's not changed. I agree, that's annoying. 12 years? You know how many times I've changed that setting? I'd love to super glue it on. Just every time I make a project, this is the setting that I want. I don't know why it keeps going back to the default, why I can't save as default. A little checkbox, that's one of the things that I've put up there. So let's go over here. I have officially changed over here at fcpx.tv. I've crossed the number 1 off the list. As a matter of fact, that's a graphic, but I have something better than that. Let's go to the actual website. So, fcpx.tv. It's the longest running Final Cut Pro 10 website in history. I've been running since Final Cut Pro 10 was announced, and I'm still running. I have not quit. I have no intentions of quitting. Now, what I do is I make master lists of articles and things similar to the way Ken Stone, if you remember kenstone.net, which was the best Final Cut Pro website of all time, they used to do lists of things and list of articles and stuff. So right now I have a Final Cut Pro 10.7 master list, articles, tutorials, and commentary. And look, here we are live. So I have press release, all these things, Final Cut Pro 10.7 for Mac Cindy, all the articles that I want to go back to, and I have a list of all of them, and it'll take you there. But what I wanted to show you was this. I have a top 101 list of requests for Final Cut Pro in 2023. Of course, that'll change when 2024 rolls around. But here's the thing. Final Cut Pro needs many industry standard features that have been missing for going on 12 years. No modern NLE should rest on its magnetic timeline laurels. Well, they're making progress. This is a curated list of suggestions for improving Final Cut Pro and includes repeated user requests I've heard about online and email requests that I've received. I get inquiries if Apple has seen this list. Yes, they have seen it. This is a list for native features for Final Cut Pro, not a list for third-party plugins, add-ons, workarounds, or hacks. Native NLE features. I don't want a skeletal Final Cut Pro that needs 100 helper apps to be considered a professional or fully functional. So finally, after all these years, patience does pay off. Look at this. Number 1 on my list for many many years was a scrolling timeline. Yes, I was ecstatic when I saw that the scrolling timeline was there in 10.7. I was not expecting it in 10.7. I was expecting some other things. I was completely caught off guard, pleasantly, very pleasantly. I was ecstatic that the scrolling timeline finally came and that I was at the summit to see that. So this video that I put up a long time ago, I put this up when Final Cut Pro 10 was announced. It's got over 12,000 views of this. It's the iMovie for iPad scrolling timeline, where the iMovie for iPad scrolled, but Final Cut Pro scrolls off the screen. So anyway, finally, I can cross that off my list. All these years, patience does play into it. I have been patient, and they delivered after all these years. Final Cut Pro, thank you very much for the thumbs up. Fantastic. It's appreciated. So, yeah. Any other issues or comments you want to make about Final Cut Pro 10.7? I have a few more comments I want to talk about. Let's see. Here we go. What have I seen? I've seen crashes, people having crashes with Final Cut Pro 10.7. Sometimes when they launch it, but once again, if you can't repeat it, if the team can't repeat it, or if you can repeat it, you can do a screen recording of it happening, put a link up, private link or unlisted link on YouTube, and put the link in your report to the Final Cut Pro team. You cannot attach a picture or a video to the reports. It's text only, but you can put a link in there that says, okay, here's what's happening, and put a little video. Like, just make it unlisted on YouTube, so you don't got to mess with passwords and stuff. I have a company coming over here shortly. In 15 minutes, they're making, in the other room, they're making gingerbread houses. The whole group of people come over, so it might get a little noisy. So I've seen reports of XML affecting exporting back and forth. There's been an issue with that. Chris Hawking says it's Apple's problem. And then I've seen reports of crashing, but that could be a lot of things. That could be your media, something's corrupt. That could be a project that's corrupt. That doesn't necessarily mean it's 10.7. I've seen multiple reports of clicking in the color board and causing Final Cut to crash, 10.7 to crash. Clicking in the color curves or the white picker. Now, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I've seen that more with Intel machines than with M1s. There's a report over on Apple Discussions about it. I go to Apple Discussions a lot if there's something going on. Also, Chris has Bug Tracker over there at Final Cut FCP Cafe. Let's go over there real quick. He has a lot of bugs that he has. Bug Tracker. Here's a list of the 30 most recently added Final Cut Pro bug reports. Crash, snapshot, color wheels. I've seen a lot of color wheel stuff. Exporting in XML due to text style export. These are all recent ones. Plugins, various developers stop working and crashing in Final Cut Pro. Scrolling timeline misbehaves. My scrolling timeline is perfect, but And I zoom in and out, but anyway, over there at FCP Cafe, Chris's, he has a list of bug reports. Some of those are Final Cut Pro 10.7 specific, some of them are not. We'll be testing Topaz on some finished project until next time. Thanks for the heads up, Richard. Absolutely. So, yeah, once again, it works very well for, especially for legacy and standard def footage. You can upscale it. I just upscale it double, typically. If it's 1080p or below, I upscale it if I'm doing work. If I recorded something and it was dark, you can have various degrees of getting rid of noise and doing it, but you can upscale at the same time. So that's what I always do. I don't upscale 4K because I'm not working with 8K video. I shoot in 4K on my phone, 6K on my Lumix S5 Mark IIX. I don't upscale either one of those. I just leave them at the native resolution. And if I need to do work, I do work. So what else is happening? Let me go back to my notes. Let me see what other bug fixes that I've seen. So Merry Christmas. If you're celebrating Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. Any of the other holidays, of course, I wish you the best, whatever way you celebrate. Let me see what this is. Oh, somebody was talking about, so this is interesting. Somebody was talking about on Ecamm Live, let me pull this down, about streaming to Twitter, X, the platform X. I've been streaming to Twitter for the last several years. I've never stopped streaming to Twitter. So if you look at these, this is my list of broadcasts. Notice it says Periscope. So the source is Periscope, even though Periscope was supposed to be dropped. It never was dropped for me. But it shows up as streaming on Twitter. All these broadcasts are on Twitter/X. I've been streaming for years. It's never stopped streaming. That's just something that people were saying, oh, the Periscope is dead. Well, it never stopped for me. I've been streaming on it we're live on there right now, over there on Twitter. We are live over there right now. Let's see. Yeah, we're live on Twitter right now. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. So we get viewers from all three platforms. So thank you for the thumbs up. It's appreciated. I was working on my if anybody's watched my video, I have this situation over at my house. That is, let me just pull this up. So I have this situation over my house. Every year I get this. Leaves, and leaves. So the volume of leaves that I have 30 100-foot oak trees. And those guys that I just showed you the video of, they took away over 2 tons of leaves. Their truck holds 1.25 tons, and they took away 2 tons of leaves. But I looked at the backpack blowers that they had, and I said, would you buy these again? They said yes. So I went online and checked out the one they had, which was which one did they have? A Stihl, S-T-I-H-L. They had the Stihl 800 something. And I went online and looked at the Stihl, And what kept coming up was the Echo 1090T, which was its step up above the steel. So I got the 1090T, and that thing is incredible. That thing is absolutely incredible. It makes my work, because even after they took away 2 tons, they took them away the week before Thanksgiving, I still have like 30, paper bags from Home Depot of leaves that I gathered up since then. But that leaf blower is just fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. I got it on sale, Black Friday sale. I got it $100 off, so I bought it. That's what I figured I would do. So let's talk about 10.7. Any more comments about 10.7? Anyway, we're live. Let me just see what we have here. We talked about that. But anyway, I think 10.7.1, maybe this week. I mean, here's the thing. I've seen some comments that said, when I made it just last week, I think Thursday or whatever, a week after Final Cut had been out, I said, I think we're going to see 10.7.1 in a week or two or week or so 2 or 3 weeks. And some people said, do you think they can fix all of the bugs that quickly? No, they can't. They never fix all of the bugs. I mean, we've had bug fixes for 12 years. They never fix all the bugs. But they can choose a group of bugs to fix. And if they want to have a bug fix out before Christmas, they can choose the easy bugs that they're seeing quickly. They can choose a group of these bugs, 2, 3, 4 bugs, whatever they see, and have that bug fix out before Christmas. It's not going to be the be-all, end-all bug fix. Never need any more bug fixes for Final Cut Pro 10.7 for their life. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a singular bug fix, 10.7.1, that will fix some bugs that they're seeing that are easy to fix, that can do it quickly, and that they can have out before Christmas, because I suspect they're going to be going away for Christmas. Usually they shut down. A lot of people do. A lot of companies do. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. We got 16 thumbs ups already. That's fantastic. So that's one of the things. And then the other thing is, I'm not on Sonoma. I mean, like I said, I have a dual boot. I have a 4 terabyte SSD. I would never get anything less than 4 terabyte going forward. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. Just got another one. I would never get less than 4 terabytes anymore. It's expensive. I don't need the 8, but I certainly would get 4. And what I've done is the main one is Ventura, and then I made a separate volume, not a partition, but a separate volume. And on that separate volume, I installed Sonoma. So that is a brand new, fresh version of Sonoma. And I put Final Cut Pro on it, and I've run it a few times, but there's other things. I have a list of probably 12, a dozen apps that I need when I do a new install. So things like Pathfinder, I use that. I use Text Expander. I use CleanShot X for taking screenshots and screen recordings. I have, what else do I have? A 1Password. I have a bunch of other things. Backblaze, I use that as one of my backups. Dropbox, Default Folder X. I use all these things have to be installed and get running before I feel comfortable, before I can effectively use the operating system. Of course, Final Cut Pro, Compressor, Motion, but there's a lot of things that I have to install. And if I'm doing a fresh install, I like installing all these things from scratch, so there's no issues. Yes, I saw that, Eric. That new 8 terabyte portable external drive from OWC for $1,300, bus powered and fast. Yes, I saw that. 8 terabytes. Yes, I saw that. It's very fast. I might get one of those. I have, yes, it's like $1,300. I'm keeping an eye on that one for sure, because I saw that and it's brand new. So that's a positive. It's USB 4, I think, USB 4, Thunderbolt 4. They're testing it on Macs. They're saying they get a real world speed over 2,000 megabits per second, because the specs don't mean anything if they can't be delivered in a real world. So I'm keeping my eye on that, and I may indeed get one of those. But I'll tell you what, my favorite portable drive right now, where in the heck is that one? It's around here somewhere. I unplug it. Well, it's the crucial 4 terabyte SSD. It's not as fast as the OWC. Yeah, it says over 300 megabits a second. I'm definitely keeping my eye on that. I wish I could get a version. I guess I could put 2 of those together in RAID 0, but that's 2600, and that's the same as their other. I'm going to keep an eye on that. I don't need it right now because I work off my RAID. I have one of their RAIDs, 8 spinning drive, RAID 5. I get 1,000 megabits per second on that consistently, 1,200. And that's what I work on big projects, but I'm definitely interested in that 8. The majority of my the projects that I use are less than 8 terabytes. So I could certainly port something over there that I'm working on to that. That's a good deal. Now you've got me thinking about that again. Yeah, absolutely. So I have this one. This is one that I put together myself years ago. This is 22,000 megabits per second. It's a 2 terabyte NVMe SSD, but it's Thunderbolt. It's not USB 3. It's true Thunderbolt. Now, these are more expensive than the USB versions, but this is the fastest portable that I have. Now, the thing is, going forward, I'm going to look and see if that 8 terabyte works with the iPhone. I don't know if it's going to, because the iPhone's only, I think, USB 3. But that is really, really tempting, 8 terabyte for that price point. But this is the fastest that I have. This is like 2,000 megabits per second for me. But absolutely. Let's go over there real quick while we're talking about it. I'll see what the heck's going on. Our company is arriving. I can hear them out there talking. I'm not sure what I'm going to do today. I was planning on going up to Westminster to go to a Christmas market up there, but I'm not sure if I'm going to, because I'm already backed up with my Christmas projects. Oh, look at that. OWC. Well, look at that. Holiday stocking stuffers. Power adapters. USB-C cables. Where is the external storage? Where is that? That's something brand new. Mini dock, external storage. Let's see if it's over here. What is that called? Something brand new. Is this it here? No, that's not it. That's funny that they. It's funny that they. I know I saw that. I got an email from them. Let me see if I can put it in my. I think I saved it. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Right here. This is it. This is it. 8 terabyte OWC Express 1M2 and stock, so $1,300, up to 31 megabits per second real world performance. So that is very, very fast. It's a 3-year warranty. So I'll have to see, I'd have to call them first and make sure that that's going to be that fast on my M1 MacBook Pro. But that looks very interesting. 3-year warranty as well. Bus powered. That's amazing. That's amazing. It may be too large to configure on an iPhone right now. Exactly. What I'm saying is, yeah, I don't need that 8 terabytes for the iPhone. I got 4 terabyte. Where the heck are they? Those little Crucial X9 Pros. I have one right here somewhere. Oh, here it is. Here it is. So I have these for my iPhone. I have 2 of these. 4 terabytes. They were on sale for $180, $82 over that Black Friday. This thing is incredibly small. If you compare it to, this is the Samsung T7. It's about 2/3 the size. So I really like these, the 4 terabyte versions. And they work with the phone. They work with my MacBook Pro. This is 4 terabytes. Works with my MacBook Pro for backing up when I'm on the road, and they also work with my phone. I can record directly to them with my iPhone 15 Pro Max. I have the OWC Express M2, very nice SSD RAID. Absolutely. I like OWC stuff for the most part, and when I've had issues, they always took care of it for me. They've always taken care of it for me. I can get a real person on the phone. As a matter of fact, let me show you this. See if you remember this. I got this right here. I'm going to pull this up. Do you remember these for OWC? The old clear case, not SSD. This is just the clear case drive, Firewire 800, USB. This is when I first started buying OWC stuff. That's how long I've been a customer. Bergman Productions, thanks for keeping me company as I drive home to Boise, Idaho from Portland, Oregon. I just finished editing my feature-length documentary last week, so tomorrow I get to update to 10.7. Absolutely. Of course, back up your current version of Final Cut before you update to 10.7. Eric says, yep, owned a few of those. Yep, loaned a few of those. So when I get my upstairs, this is my upstairs studio. This is a smaller studio. I'm going to tear it apart, dust everything, reroute my cables, and organize so I can find things a little easier. Then I'll take you on a tour, and I'll show you with my iPhone. One of the cool things that I did when I was at the Creative Summit, many, many cool things. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. It's appreciated. One of the many cool things I did at the Creative Summit, number one, I met some new people. Jen Jager was very, very nice. She came over to me. I was sitting in the lobby of the Aloft Hotel on Wednesday night. Yeah, Wednesday night. And she came over and introduced herself and said, hey, my name's Jen. And we sat and had a conversation and stuff. Very, very nice person. I've known Dylan Bates, another one of the new people with Final Cut Pro. I met him 2 years ago at NAB. I was going outside, I was leaving the convention center, and him and Dylan Johns stopped me and said, hey, Richard Taylor, we watch your shows or on live streams or whatever. And I've known him ever since then. He was there. Some other people I met there. And I had a great time meeting there. I did live stream 8 or 9 hours from the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. I did live stream from there. So that's every night and every evening, every morning I live stream from there. But we got to see 10.7 live. We got to see it live. But there's a lot of neat things that happened at the Creative Summit. I recorded 1.5 terabytes of data. 1.5 terabytes of data. So that's a lot. That's a lot of data. I forget what I was going to say about the Creative Summit. I was going to bring something up. I'll think about it in a minute. So one thing I'm waiting for, these are my DJI mics. Fantastic package that comes with a transmitter, 2 transmitters and 1 receiver. And the cool thing about this is a USB-C. You can plug it right into the side of an iPhone. You don't even have to have a cable. This is the receiver, and you just plug it right into the side of the iPhone. Just clicks right in, and you got Pro Audio. I got 2 transmitters that are now going into my iPhone. It's that simple. And this has a case on it, and it still has enough reach that it just plugs right in. And then just unplug it, and you're good to go. I really like this. They were so innovative when they came out with this package. I am waiting for the new version, the Pro version, whatever, or because I like this one so much, I will automatically buy the new version when it comes out. I do have a backup, a cheaper version of this for backup because I like the situation so much. I don't like, one of the problems with the Rode Wireless Go's is you got to use a cable to plug into the phone. No. Any microphone system I get, it's going to be directly plugged into the phone, just like the DJI. They're the first ones that did it. And then there's a second company, a couple of other companies have imitated them and have done the same thing where it's just direct plug in. I'm not going to get a cable again. He says they are very, very SSD are very small. Yes, absolutely. So there's 2 different criteria. Number one is I need those small SSDs when I go on the road. When I take my MacBook Pro to NAB, which is coming up, or to the Creative Summit, those are the 2 events that I typically go to, I need to back up my footage as I go. So with the iPhone 15 Pro Max, I can back up directly with an SSD. I just plug this thing into my iPhone, little cable, and I can back up to this SSD directly from the iPhone. Or I can take my iPhone, plug it, the USB-C cable into my MacBook Pro, back up to my MacBook Pro, and then from my MacBook Pro, I make a copy on the SSDs. So I have 2 different criteria. I have this Samsung, I have 2 Samsungs, 3 Samsungs, I have 2 these are 2 terabyte. I have Crucials, which are 4 terabyte. I have 2 of these, which is enough. I have this Thunderbolt one. So I have more than enough to do. I like to have at least 2 copies of everything when I go on the road. But the other thing is, nowadays with the iPhone 15, I can record directly to an SSD. So any little SSD that I get, I want to be able to record to the phone directly. You can record Apple Log, ProRes Log directly to these SSDs. So this is a 4 terabyte drive. I can record 25 hours of ProRes Log footage from my iPhone on this thing. But the other one we're looking at, this one, I don't care about the iPhone aspect. This is just, if it is indeed as fast as they say, over 3,000 megabits a second real world performance, then I will probably get one and work my projects on that, because that's a lot faster than my RAID is. My RAID's about 1,000, 1,200. That's a lot faster. So any project that I'm currently working on, I would copy it to this and work from that. But it's got to be It says 3115 real world performance. It's got to do that on my M1 Max MacBook Pro. But that's a good working drive. Put your cache on there and things. So I find copying from the phone to the Mac via USB-C Thunderbolt 4 cable feels slow. Haven't really calculated the numbers and compare with other scenarios, but it feels slow. So yeah, I have an app on my phone. Let me see if I can pull it up. I know I can pull it up. I have an app on my phone. It's called Disk Test, and it will test the speed. This is going to test the speed of my iPhone. Let me pull up a different 10 gigabytes. So it's testing the speed writing to the iPhone, and it's coming up at, this is the internal iPhone SSD, and it's coming up at 1200 data size 1623. It's coming up as writing and reading at 1623 to the internal SSD. When I plug in the external, these little things, they come up about 900 to 1,000 from my phone. So I'm not sure from the phone to the MacBook Pro, it should be equivalent 1,200, 1,500, 1,600 megabits per second, I would think, since the internal drive is that fast. But this is a cool little app I got for like $3. It's called Disk Test. Disk Test on the App Store. I think I got it for $3 a couple weeks ago. So I use that to test things. That's how I found out that the Samsung T9, I got a Samsung T9. The T7's okay. The T9 Shields is only half speed to the iPhone. Works fine on the MacBook Pro, but it doesn't work with the iPhone as well. It's half the speed, so I sent that back. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. I'm now copying 820 gigabytes between two of the crucial X9 drive purchased due to your recommendations. I'm using them as backup drives while editing from a Samsung X5 FireWire drive. I don't think you mean FireWire. I think you mean Thunderbolt, right? The X5 is Thunderbolt. Used to be FireWire, but not anymore. FireWire, of course, was very, very slow. Yes. I don't know. Let me think how to test. I don't know how to test the iPhone copying to the MacBook Pro. We can do it mathematically, but I'm not sure. Yeah, we'd have to do it. You have to do it. I would just do it mathematically. That disk test is only going to test things based on the iPhone itself. So that's not going to work. But you can just get a file size of 100 gigabytes and see how long it takes. But it's definitely faster than Lightning. It's definitely faster than Lightning. All righty. What else do we have? What else do we have? Let me just check. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. I was just checking, make sure audio is coming through okay. And it is indeed. We have, wow, I got 20 thumbs up. Fantastic. I appreciate it. Anything else about the, about Final Cut Pro 10.7? Does anybody else thinks that, let me see what this comment says. Also, if you're writing to the internal storage with Blackmagic Cam, it's not easy to transfer individual files from the phone to the Mac via USB-C. Transfer the individual files, at least in Mac OS Ventura. So let me see what that says. Writing to the internal storage with Blackmagic is not easy to transfer individual files on the phone to the... Huh, that's interesting. That Blackmagic iPhone app is crazy good, and the speed of their updates is exciting for the future. Absolutely. Also, you can't drill down to the media folder using the Finder. Yeah, I've seen that. I understand that, but I use image capture, which goes to the place where the default location, and I drag files over. I don't use the Finder. I take image capture, drag files over. And also iMazing is another one that I use. I use two different apps. I don't do it from the Finder, but I see. You're saying you copy the entire media folder to the Mac. I see. And then empty it out when you're done. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. I thought you said Topaz was slower than real time. It is for me. It is for me. My 16-inch M1 Pro is doing it twice real time with upscaling 2 times. In other words, it's so typically, if it's a 15-minute video, it'll take me about 3/4 to an hour to finish. That's what it does for me. For most of my stuff, it's not as fast as real time. It's slower than real time. But anyway, some of your files working faster is fantastic. Watching from Tokyo. Thank you very much for tuning in from Tokyo. This is where we are on Saturday mornings. I think I'm going to switch it, keep it at 9 o'clock. It's that way I can get out of here at 10 o'clock. I just got Amazing 2 solves the problem. It's the only iPhone utility that shows a proper progress bar when copying app files. Absolutely. The image capture, if you do one file at a time, it has a progress bar. You can bring that up. So image capture, iMazing and image capture is what I use to transfer files. Now, if they're inside a proprietary folder, like sometimes I use Double Take, which I'm going to stop using because they really messed up when they went with bending spoons. They keep their files inside of their folder. I think you can do it to the regular folder, though. I think you have a choice to save the files to the regular folder. Now, I use Double Take, but let me see, what's the other app that's... There's another app. Twisted Wave, Beast Cam. There's another app that does ProCam. Road Capture. Road Capture does, you can do two different cameras at one time. So Road Capture also does 2 different videos. You can just choose on dual cam and let you check which version you want. You want it burnt in, you want picture in picture, you want separate files. Well, I do separate files. So Road Capture also does that. iMazing can copy files out of the app native storage folder. Yes, it can. Absolutely. It absolutely can. So between the two of them, we're fine. And the thing is, it seems definitely faster than Lightning. Lightning was, I'd go to sleep sometimes and go overnight, let them capture photos and videos via Lightning port, and then it would crash sometimes. You can only do so many. Let me see here. I can hear my company out there. I'm going to pull up one more thing here. To check out our web. So this is one of the videos that I put up this week. This is back in the good old days when I interviewed Filmic Pro at NAB 2019.
Hey, Richard, how are you?
How are you doing?
Good.
Filmic Pro.
Yes.
Do you have anything new to announce for NAB?
We have two big announcements. The first of which would be our integration for the FreeFly Movi Cinema Robot.
Now, what's the price of this?
The Cinema Robot is $299.
Okay.
And Filmic Pro is $16 US.
No, I know Filmic Pro is just, that's incredible, an incredible price. Well, let's talk about Filmic Pro specifically then.
Sure. Okay, so over the last few months, we've made a couple of huge updates to Filmic Pro. Just before Christmas, we released Log V2, which will give you an extra 2 to 2.5 stops of dynamic range. We brought the amount of noise in that log profile way down, and we released a LUT pack along with that. So if you want to go quickly to Rec 709 on mobile or your desktop, Premiere, Resolve, or LumaFusion on mobile, just single tap will take you into that Rec 709 color space, but still give you the additional dynamic range, and we give you much nicer skin tones over using the native curve, so much more natural with that side of things.
The log packs, how does that work with an NLE? Do you have a log, a LUT?
Yeah, so we have .cube, D-Log, and D-Flat LUTs available for free on our website. You download them, we have full install tutorials for all the major platforms, few steps, and then we'll just be in your drop-down list and let you get the superior image with a shoot log, a tap in LumaFusion, or a click in Premiere. We've normalized it, but you still get more benefits over just shooting natural. So we've turned it into a one-click or one-tap process for a superior image when you work with our log and flat profiles.
Right.
We also have increased our maximum bit rate. So on the latest, last two gens of iPhone, if you're shooting 4K in Filmic Extreme, you can get up to 140 megabits a second, especially when you're shooting with log. So that's a 40 megabit increase over our previous 100.
Okay.
And on Android, you'll see between 125 and 130 when shooting at the highest quality, which again has been great.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Filmic Pro, what version is it right now?
We're at 6.9. This is our last potential major release before we do a V7 update right around the holidays at the end of the year.
So, but next year. I mean, later this year.
Yeah.
So that is Filmic Pro before they were bought out by that ridiculous company, Bending Spoons, that completely ruined them. They fired everybody over there at Filmic Pro, from what I understand. And so who the heck knows? It's like they're running like a ship without a sail. Anyway, I interviewed him in 2019. That was a nice interview. You were right with regards to Topaz. I've now hit parts of my video which may take considerably longer to upscale. Do not mind, though. I don't mind either. The quality is well worth it. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. It is appreciated. It is appreciated. Don't forget, there's a couple of things. So if you're here for Final Cut Pro, let me turn this down. First off, don't forget to subscribe over there at the YouTube channel, right? Over there at the YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Richard Taylor TV. Don't forget to subscribe. Our subscriber numbers are going up, which we like. We like that. And other thing is, if you want to join a Final Cut Pro Facebook group, we have a specific one dedicated to Final Cut Pro 10.7. We've only been around for like a little over a week. We already have 220 some members, but I don't want necessarily thousands, but the people that are dedicated to Final Cut Pro 10.7. This group's going to be Final Cut Pro. Facebook.com/group/Final Cut Pro 10.7. We're going to concentrate on 10.7 tutorials, issues, tips and tricks, comments, bug reports, etc., etc. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. It is appreciated. And then, of course, we have this one over here too. Final Cut Radio TV, which is where we're based out of that. That's this live stream, Final Cut Radio TV. And that's our Facebook group. Over 2,000 members, I think 2,200 members right at this point. We talk about these live streams, talk about Final Cut Pro, of course. It's a general Final Cut Pro group. but we talk a lot about there, and I'll usually post there first anything that's news breaking over there at the Final Cut Radio TV Facebook group. That's usually where I post there and on Twitter both. So how about that? So is everybody satisfied with 10.7? I mean, I am so far. I am expecting a bug fix, like I said. I do expect a bug fix between now, maybe this week, maybe the following week. I don't know, Tuesday or Thursdays, whatever day it is. You know, I got a feeling they're going to sneak a bug fix in before Christmas. If they don't, either they're not being able to reproduce the bugs, or they have a bigger bug fix coming out. I mean, like I said, the last couple of bug fixes are only 2 weeks. They introduced a version of Final Cut Pro, had a bug fix in 2 weeks. Final Cut Pro, bug fix in 2 weeks. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, everybody. Final Cut TV and coffee, Saturday mornings at 9 o'clock. I think I'm going to switch to 9 o'clock. I want to thank each and every one of you for stopping in here. I also want to thank each and every one of you for your thumbs up. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. I come here because I enjoy it, but I enjoy talking with everybody from all around the world. Worldwide Final Cut Pro Community. My name's Richard Taylor, as you know, and I'm going to get out of here, and unless there's an update to Final Cut Pro, if 10.7.1 comes out, thank you for the thumbs up. It's appreciated. 23 thumbs up already. Unless there's an update to Final Cut Pro, I'll see you next Saturday. But if there's an update or any kind of breaking news, of course, I will do a live stream during the week as soon as it comes out. I do have some people I want to get in before the holidays, so we'll see how that schedule works out. I just did an interview with Serena Catania. She did over there at OWC Radio. That's probably coming out at some point. Until next Saturday, unless there's an update to Final Cut Pro, I'll see you.